Calvin's Got Game. Today I want to talk to you about the Wizkids Loot Crate gaming box. I took a full year subscription. I got 6 boxes. They were every other month. And I got 3 games in each box. What I want to do is kind of wrap this whole deal up. I kind of unboxed them for you as I got them and when we went through them. But I kind of want to tell you what I kept and what I didn't keep, what I let go, and maybe there's one I'm on the fence about. So let's start out with the ones I kept. So I kept a game, I kept Doppelganger. Doppelganger is kind of a hidden role game, but you're working together trying to accomplish a certain goal. It is a game where there's a lot more, you got to have a lot more people to play it. So during this last year, I haven't got it to the table a whole lot, but I think I'm going to keep it in my collection just so that I can see if it'll work out. And if not, I'll probably get rid of it. But it's at least interesting to me, and I think that it's looks like a pretty decent game for a large group of people. It's kind of on that same lines as the Resistance, and you're trying to do certain things. But I'm really interested in getting it to the table this year and seeing if we can't get it played with a large group of people. Then there's Fabulous. Fabulous is it's a hexagonal shaped pieces, and you're putting them on your board and you're selecting them. It's almost has that same feel as King Domino, where you're selecting tiles, and that's kind of what happens in this game is you're selecting tiles before someone else, and they may take the tile you want, but you're placing on certain colors. You score points if you're matching colors that you're putting on top of. It can't overhang off of you can't have like a second story hanging over it and then there's nothing underneath it. So it's a pretty beautiful game on the table. Very colorful, very pretty. So my wife enjoyed it, so I think I'm going to keep that one for sure. Then there's Kahuna. Kahuna is a card game to where you're building a pyramid, and you can't place larger numbers on top of smaller numbered bricks because it wouldn't hold. You want to make sure that your bottom row is higher numbers, and then you put the smaller numbers as you go up. Sounds easy, a little harder than it is because you can skip over cards almost like no thanks. You're putting these tokens on them, but if someone thinks that card has enough tokens on it, they may take it because those tokens at the end of the game let you subtract points from your score. So, not a bad game at all. So, Kahuna is a quick, simple card game, which I love card games, and it works. And I'm going to keep that one. Let Her Go. Let Her Go. I haven't played this one yet, but it sounded very intriguing to me where you're writing down certain words out of what letters are given in the middle. Everybody's trying to come up with a word, and when you get one, you grab this deal out of the middle. And there's some really strange rules that go along with it. So it intrigued me, but once again, it's a game that requires a larger amount of people, which I haven't had the opportunity to play with. So I'm kind of saving that one, hoping to get it to the table to see exactly how it plays and if it's worth keeping in my collection. But for now, I'm keeping Let Her Go. Now, and there's the Banishing. The Banishing is a game to where you're trying to banish so many cards out of this grid. You'll have these things that you're trying to fight along with trying to banish other cards. It's a cooperative game, but it's harder to do than you think. I really think this game is interesting. It's a card game. It's cooperative. And you can play 2 to 4 players, so it's right in that niche to where I've got it to the table a couple times, and I really enjoyed it. But I think that if you're looking for a card game that is small enough to put out, play in about 30 to 40 minutes, Banishing is right up your alley. It is such a good game. Everybody has their own special powers that they can do, and you're collecting sets of cards to be able to, or symbols on cards to be able to do these things. And you're drafting cards out of these rows. You either take a full row or another row, and you get these bad cards in your hand which you don't want. So the game is pretty interesting to do, and you have to balance when you do certain things. a good card game. So the Banishing, I'm definitely keeping. Stampede is a cute little card game about stamp collecting. And these cute little animals, there's crocodiles, and, well, I don't guess crocodiles cute, but there's zebras and elephants and giraffes and all these other animals that you're collecting. Antelope is even in there, I think. But each card that you play, you pick a card. You can pick a card out of the lineup, or you can draw a card. But you have to play a card, and each card has something that tells you to do on the bottom, whether it's switch your cards with someone else, take a card out of their collection and put it in yours and exchange one out. Sometimes you'll get stuck with cards that you don't want to do any of that, right? You don't want to do any of them on the bottom. So you have to really watch what you're playing, what you discard, and how it goes. What you're trying to do is collect, I think it's 5 of one animal in your collection, or get 1 of each, which is 9 different animals in your collection. So it's a very cute little card game. It's fast. I enjoy card games, especially little small ones, so this one worked for me, Stampede. I'm also keeping Endless Pass of Viking Saga. This one's I'm on the fence, really. I'm going to keep it, but I haven't got to play it with the full complement of folks yet. I played it with 2, 3 people. I would like to play it with more. It's a card game to where you're trying to defeat these creatures, monsters, or whatever they are. And if you don't do it, it passes to the next person. And you're going to have to take a wound. So it gets worse as it goes around the table, especially if somebody's not helping out killing anything. It can get pretty rough. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty good game. I'm going to keep it for a while, see what happens. And then there's Dice Stars. Dice Stars I really enjoy. I have it in my collection already, and I got it again from Wizkids in the Loot Crate. So I traded it off. Somebody asked me to trade it off, and I did. But I do like Dice Stars. It is in my collection. It's around here somewhere. Don't know exactly where, but it's here. And I like Dice Stars. It's a fun little dice rolling game to where you're marking off things on the dice. It's just a roll and write game, which I really enjoy. Then Fantasy Realms. Fantasy Realms, it's just a 53, 54 card deck, 59, somewhere along in there. And you're just trying to collect the best 6 cards that you can. Now, some of these cards that say if you have a monster and a hero, it gives you so many points, or if you have Thunderstorm and Windstorm or something together, it gives you this many points. But it is kind of difficult to do because everybody's drafting these cards out of the middle, or they're drawing a card, discarding a card, and so it just gets crazy. You're trying to figure out, okay, what's the best ones? Some of the cards say they blank the card in your hand. You don't score any points on it, so you don't want to keep that one unless you don't have certain things in your hand, which it won't blank the card. Sounds confusing. It's not. It all works together, and the best thing about it is there's an app to help you score it. All you do is drag the cards down that you have in your hand. It'll tell you the score. It is pretty cool app. The game is actually really fun. I enjoy it a lot. So that's Fantasy Realms. And then there's Spy Tricks. Spy Tricks is a game that, it's a trick-taking game, which I love trick-taking games. I don't have a problem with those at all. It has this grid of the cards from 1 to 9, and there's 3 suits, red, white, and blue. Or red, blue, and white, because white is the lowest suit, blue is the next one, red's the highest suit. So what happens is you deal out all the cards except for 3. So 3 cards get put, depending on how many players you have, it tells you how many to deal out. If you're playing with 3, each person gets 6 cards, there's 3 cards left. You put one of those cards randomly under this board, under the little paper board, and it says the top secret, right? And the other 2 cards you have left, you put on the board in the number slots that they go, because it's 1 through 9 in each deal. So you're playing cards and you're catching cards, and only the winner or the loser of the hand, that one hand, gets to place out a pawn. So they place out a pawn on the board. Either they're going to guess it's 1 through 9, or they're going to guess a color, or they're going to guess the exact card, whether it's a blue 4, a white 3, red 9. So you're going to put your pawn on that, and at the end of the game, after everybody's done, and you can, no one's got everything wrong. If they have something wrong, they can move one to somewhere somebody's already placed. But if not, you can't place where somebody's already been. And if you haven't placed it on a board, whether you haven't lost a trick or caught a trick, you'll get to place one token on the board. So once the card's revealed, you'll score points that way. And the best part about this game is very fast, and it only goes per how many players you have. So if you have 3 people, it's 3 rounds. If you have 4 people, it's 4 rounds. So I found the game to be very interesting, and I enjoyed it, and we're going to keep it. Now, the one that I'm on the fence about, it's called El Maestro. El Maestro is a party game. It's a drawing game, but it's not like win, lose, or draw, or Pictionary, or anything like that. This one, you have a card in front of you that no one else can see, and you're drawing in the air with your finger. And while you're drawing in the air with your finger, everyone else is drawing on their paper, trying to come up with what's on the card. It sounds a little weird to me. Don't know if I'm going to like it. Haven't got it to the table yet, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I want to play it with a larger group of people so that I'm not just playing with 2 or 3 people. I want to play it with at least 5, maybe 6 people. I think it goes up to that. So I want to get it with the full complement and play the game. I'm not sure if I like it yet, but we'll see what happens. So that one's kind of on the border. Now, the ones I did not keep, the ones I said no thank you, don't care for them. There's Dice Masters Superman versus Wonder Woman. I've never really been into Dice Masters, didn't really care for it. I love rolling dice, don't get me wrong, but too much symbology for me. It didn't work for me. Yummy World. Yummy World is a small kids game. Really didn't play it. Didn't even open it. But there was a young lady at our local game store that I had played games with before. And I played with her parents and her Sparkle Kitty one time. And so I figured, hey, I think she would enjoy this game. So I took it up there and let her have it. Maiden's Quest. Maiden's Quest did kind of interest me, but it's just a solo player game. I do some solo plays, but that one just didn't make it for me. You can play it with one hand. I didn't really care for it. It didn't look like it was for me. So Maiden's Quest, I said no thank you, and it moved on out of my collection. And Sovereign's Chain. Didn't even open this one either. It did not interest me in the slightest. The theme, it's just a card game with some tokens, and it just didn't make it for me. So I decided to purge that one as well. And Throne is a trick-taking with dice and cards. I didn't open it either. It just didn't sit well with me, and I saw some negative reviews about it, and I said, you know what, no sense me opening it. I'm just going to move it on down the road. Didn't think that one was for me either. And Chayo's Secret, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not, but you'll see the box up here. Chayo's Secret is like for, I think it said 5 to 8 players, and man, from the last year, getting 5 people together, which was impossible because everybody wanting to social distance and everything. I just don't think I'll ever get that one to the table. And the theme is kind of off for me. I'm not a big. It didn't strike me. So we're gonna let it go. It's some kind of hidden role about trying to be the kingdom leader or something. Just didn't seem like it was for me. And then there was Palm Trees. Palm Trees I gave away as well. It was just looked too silly for me. You wear a sleeve on your arm. It actually came with sleeves, like tattoo sleeves. It came with the sleeves that look like palm tree trunks, and you hold the cards in your hand a certain way. You have to hold them with certain fingers or certain ways. Yeah, it was just too silly for me. I didn't think I would enjoy it, so I kind of passed it on to a group of folks that I thought would really enjoy it. So guys, that was all the games I got in Loot Crate. I got 18 of them, and I kept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I kept 10, 11 of them actually, because Maestro's still on the fence, El Maestro. But I kept 11 games out of the 18. So I spent, what is 6 times 25? What is that? 150 bucks, something like that. So give or take a couple bucks here or there, but about $150. I got 11, 12 games. That retail probably for about 15 bucks a piece. So I think I broke even, if nothing else, and hopefully passing these games on to somebody else. They might enjoy them and get them into board gaming, or they might pass them on to someone else who it really that strikes a fancy for them to play that game. Guys, I thank you for watching the channel. I thank you for supporting me on Patreon. I thank you for subscribing and liking. If you hadn't done that yet, please hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications when new content comes out. I am so thankful that you guys watch, and I'm thankful for all the comments. Remember this: get a board game to the table, and hopefully we can start spending time with friends and family again and playing games. But most of all, thank you for watching Calvin's Got Game.